YouTube comment sections are not famous for being sources of thoughtful conversation. They're mainly famous for being troll areas and sources of bewilderment and chagrin. And I'm getting some bewilderment and chagrin, and I thought I'd react and share it with you and then post it to the person who is causing me so much bewilderment and chagrin. It's in the discussion of an extremely well done video by Shrouded Hand, Dr. Gosnell's House of Horrors. And I will provide a link below. I recommend this to everybody. It's not done from a pro-life or pro-choice standpoint. It is purely about Dr. Gosnell's ghoulish goings-on. And any doctor in any practice can be kind of ghoulish. So the conversation went on, and let's scroll down here. Oops. The very first comment was, snipped their spinal cord with scissors? WTFFF. So I thought, because I have got some background on this, I would provide a little background on this. So I said he got the idea at a National Abortion Federation seminar in Dallas in 1992. That was when Martin Haskell did his presentation on what he called DNX abortions and pro-lifers dubbed partial birth abortion. That involved dragging the baby out alive by the feet until the head was the only part still in the uterus. Then they'd take surgical scissors and make a hole at the base of the skull to suction out the brain and collapse the head. Gosnell considered his method just a modification of Haskell's technique. Pretty straightforward, right? Where did he get this idea? But let's scroll down here. And we have somebody called AC. Taking things from 30 years ago out of context isn't an argument. I wasn't making an argument. And if Gosnell got the idea 30 years ago, then the 30-year-old source of the idea is not out of context. It is the context. It's the entirety of the context. He got the idea 30 years ago from this source. Here is the source that he got the information from 30 years ago. And of course, that means that the source is 30 years old, right? Right. Okay. So, and AC must have said something about, well, I said, I wasn't making an argument, I was stating a fact. I had suspected that Gosnell had gotten the idea from Haskell's presentation at the NAF Risk Management Seminar in Dallas in 1992. Gosnell himself told Steve Volk of Philadelphia Magazine about the genesis of snipping. What he told Volk verified what I suspected. You could read Volk's excerpted book here. And I provided, where is it? The link to, and it turns out it's only chapter 1, and let's get it to load. Here it is, Philadelphia Magazine, Kermit Gosnell's Babies by Steve Volk. Now, it turns out that this article is only chapter 1, and thus it does not cover the trip to Dallas, but at least I showed that Steve Volk of Philadelphia Magazine did interview Kermit Gosnell. Now, AC obviously had said something about safe legal abortion. And I said the problem is that the women in question had no idea that this wasn't safe and legal. They were referred by reputable sources, including reputable clinics. Gosnell himself worked 1 day a week at a National Abortion Federation member clinic in Delaware. The grand jury verified that at least 6 illegal third trimester abortions were started at the Delaware clinic, including the one that culminated in the murder of baby boy A. How are women supposed to distinguish between a safe, legal clinic, notice I am conceding that they exist, and somebody like Gosnell when the state is allowing Gosnell to operate openly and reputable sources are referring women there? And he goes off, you could say this about literally any sort of badly run health clinic. Abortion isn't the only thing that can be medically botched. Great non-argument, though. I wasn't making an argument. This guy is leaping from simple, straightforward facts. Um, this is where Gosnell got the idea for snipping, and just the women were not able to know that this was not a safe abortion clinic because the state was allowing it to be open and reputable people were referring there. All I'm pointing out is facts about Kermit Gosnell's clinic. So, AC, if you're leaping from that to some kind of claim that every abortion clinic is a Gosnell clinic, that's on you. Now, while I've got it up, let's have a chat, shall we, about snipping, since that was the original topic of the thread. There were a couple of things that struck me. Let's look at demise. Where does it come up in the grand jury report? Okay. Gosnell had a simple solution for the unwanted babies he delivered. He killed them. He didn't call it that. He called it ensuring fetal demise. The way he ensured fetal demise was by sticking scissors into the back of the baby's neck and cutting the spinal cord. He called that snipping. This, again, is from the grand jury report about Kermit Gosnell, which I would think is a perfectly legitimate and credible source of information about Kermit Gosnell. Now, the scissors up here and the fetal demise, where had I heard that before? Well, I remember reading this. Okay. Second trimester abortion from every angle, fall risk management seminar, September 13th to 14th, 1992, Dallas, Texas, National Abortion Federation. Again, this seems to me a fairly credible source of what happened at the risk management seminar in Dallas, held by the National Abortion Federation in 1992. Maybe I'm just weird, but I consider their little booklet to be a reliable source of what they covered there. And if you look, page 27, second trimester DNX, 20 weeks and beyond, Martin Haskell, MD. And here we go. Here's page 22nd, dilation and extraction for late second trimester abortions, Martin Haskell, MD. And talking about techniques of second trimester DNEs have been described at previous NAF meetings. The first relies on sterile urea intraamniotic infusion to cause fetal demise. Fetal demise. Trimester DNEs rely upon means to induce early fetal demise. So there's that term, fetal demise, that was familiar, that rang a bell with me. So that's the fetal demise. Let's look a little further. With a lower extremity in the vagina, the surgeon uses his fingers to deliver the opposite lower extremity, then the torso, the shoulders, and the upper extremities. The skull lodges at the internal cervical os. Usually there is not enough dilation for it to pass through. The fetus is oriented dorsum or spine up. At this point, the right-handed surgeon slides the fingers of the left hand along the back of the fetus and hooks the shoulders of the fetus with the index and ring fingers palm down. Next, he slides the tip of the middle finger along the spine toward the skull while applying traction to the shoulders and lower extremities. The middle finger lifts and pushes the anterior cervical lip out of the way. While maintaining this tension, lifting the cervix and applying traction to the shoulders with the fingers of the left hand, the surgeon takes a pair of blunt, curved Metzenbaum scissors in the right hand. He carefully advances the tip, curved edge down, along the spine and under his middle finger until he feels it contact the base of the skull under the tip of his middle finger. Reassessing proper placement of the closed scissors tip and safe elevation of the cervix, the surgeon then forces the scissors into the base of the skull or into the foramen magnum. Having safely entered the skull, he spreads the scissors to enlarge the opening. The surgeon removes the scissors and introduces a suction catheter into the hole and evacuates the skull contents. Okay? And again, I think Martin Haskell's actual presentation paper is going to be a fairly accurate record of what he said at the National Abortion Federation seminar. And of course, it is very similar to what Gosnell was doing. He's putting the scissors right here. He was using the term ensuring fetal demise. But maybe this is just a coincidence, right? Well, Here's Gosnell's Babies. It's a Kindle book that I really recommend that anybody even remotely interested in this get. It's not expensive, and it really gives you a look into this guy's extremely mind. Let's look Haskell. And come on, baby. Okay. So here it talks about Haskell's presentation, dilation and extraction for late second trimester abortion. As Haskell wrote, the surgeon then forces scissors into the base of the skull and spreads the scissors to enlarge the opening and uses a suction cannula to evacuate the skull contents. And pro-life activists quickly dubbed the procedure partial birth abortion. Again, that's what I said. So Kermit Gosnell looked at this procedure in 1992 and saw an opportunity for mercy. In a technique he evolved over the years, he brought the tips of the scissors together like a knife to puncture the base of the fetus's neck. He widened the scissors to open the wound he created, revealing the spinal cord. And then he severed that cord, believing this would end every sensation of the fetus quickly and in the most humane manner possible. He called the technique snipping, and in this way, he made his peace with what he had seen in 6 years on ultrasound. So this is straightforward. This is the point I was making. Gosnell killed the babies by taking surgical scissors to the base of the neck and severing them with surgical scissors. He called this ensuring fetal demise. That's the terminology Martin Haskell used. And when Steve Volk interviewed Gosnell, he said that where did he get the idea? He got the idea right here. Martin Haskell's presentation paper, or actually Martin Haskell's presentation at the National Abortion Federation Risk Management Seminar in Dallas in 1992. That's not an argument. It's a simple, straightforward fact.